What is a humanitarian visa to Israel, and who is eligible to receive a visa to Israel because of special humanitarian reasons? Hi, my name is Joshua Pex. I'm an immigration lawyer, and we've had many people ask us what is exactly a humanitarian visa to Israel, because this is something that people hear about. So first of all, it's important to understand that this term, humanitarian visa, doesn't appear in the law. The law of entrance into Israel has a list of different types of visa, and there's no such exactly humanitarian visa, but for sure this is a term that's being used, and also different procedures of the Israeli immigration do dictate that in some cases the case will be transferred to a special humanitarian committee, and they will decide whether or not to give a visa because of special humanitarian reasons. At the end of the process, according to the procedure, the committee can grant a temporary residence in Israel, which is an A5 visa. Sometimes they also grant other types of visa, like a work visa. But I would say that in general, you have three categories of humanitarian visas to Israel. The first one is, and it may sound a little bit funny, but any kind of process or procedure that the law doesn't exactly say that the applicants are eligible for a visa, but on the other hand, because of reality, it does seem like this person would be eligible for a visa to Israel. The case can be transferred to the humanitarian committee. What is the most common application is usually mothers that are parents, the biological mother of an Israeli child. She herself used to maybe be in a relationship with Israeli, but they separated, and now she doesn't have the legal right to stay in Israel, but because she's the parent of a child, the procedure does say that in these kind of cases, the file is transferred to the humanitarian committee, and they decide whether or not to grant status in Israel. This is just one example. You have other procedures in which the case is transferred to the humanitarian committee, and they make a decision for humanitarian reasons. It can be also different medical conditions or any sort of justification to have a visa in Israel, even though, like I said, you don't fit exactly to other categories. The second category for humanitarian visas are for foreign caretakers, right? Usually foreign workers come to Israel to take care of the elderly or disabled Israelis, and the visa is granted for a certain amount of time, usually 5 years, and the law and the procedures decide that in some cases, because of special humanitarian reasons, the visa, which is a work visa, can be granted for longer, but these applications go to a specific humanitarian committee to decide if, for example, there's a special bond between the caretaker and the Israeli. Then the humanitarian committee might give an extension for the work visa. The third category is a special humanitarian visa for Palestinians that marry Israelis. In such cases, the regular law of entrance into Israel and the law of citizenship doesn't apply. What applies is a specific citizenship law which doesn't grant the same rights. But also here, for those applications that don't exactly fit the regular category because of age or different reasons, their file is transferred to a humanitarian committee. So it's important to understand that most of these requests to the humanitarian committee, and this is the truth, are refused. And the reason is because the applicants don't fit exactly the category of a specific law. This visa is sort of given for special reasons, and sometimes people also call it like a special visa. But again, most applications are refused. You can continue to appeals to the Court of Appeals or to the district court, and if you can convince a judge that there are specific and very special humanitarian reasons to get the visa, you can win in court even though the initial application to the humanitarian committee was refused. So if you have any questions regarding a humanitarian visa to Israel, please contact us. We'll be glad to hear the case and see if you may be eligible for a visa to Israel for special humanitarian reasons.